Hey kids, let's talk about some Cobra Kai. After 2 years, Cobra Kai has finally dropped its third season on Netflix, its new home. And if you haven't heard, it was worth the wait. Season 3 picks up 2 weeks after the events of Season 2's climactic big school brawl, which saw Miguel kicked over a railing and placed in a coma by Robbie. In the aftermath, Kreese has seized control of the Cobra Kai dojo and earned the loyalty of Johnny's students, since they now consider Johnny's coaching the reason that Miguel was nearly killed by Robbie. Karate is banned from school. All of the participants of the fight were suspended, though Robbie was actually expelled, and is currently a fugitive. Johnny and Daniel are social pariahs. Johnny has returned to being a drunk, while the LaRusso dealership has suffered due to Daniel's student having put a schoolmate in the hospital. So if you've seen any previews for Season 3, you can pretty much piece together what happens very easily. That's not to say that the trailers spoil everything. No more than usual. It's just that this season unfolds pretty much the way you'd expect. There aren't that many major surprises or plot twists. And that's not a criticism. There is still plenty to cover in what amounts to be 5 hours of very easily bingeable television. While the character count remains mostly consistent, of course not all the characters get equal treatment. This is still Daniel and Johnny's story, while there is focus primarily on Miguel, Robbie, Sam, and of course Kreese. Then Amanda, Hawk, Dimitri, and Tori all have solid supporting roles. After that, there are the less central supporting characters from each dojo. Now there's 3, from the car dealership and school, and some of them are surprisingly perfunctory given how frequently they appear, going all the way back to the first season. So what Cobra Kai continues to do well is create layers of character and story nuance. The writers and the actors have hit their stride. Usually if a show survives to the third season, this happens, and it has here, thankfully. Machio remains solid as Daniel. We buy him as the middle-aged version of this character. He remains flawed, but pure of heart, and Machio has him down cold. William Zabka has somehow managed to get better each season playing Johnny. He's so good you don't realize it. While Ralph Macchio's Daniel is essential to the Karate Kid universe, this Cobra Kai story doesn't work at all without William Zabka's portrayal of Johnny Lawrence. Johnny is very flawed, but he tries to do the right thing. He just has less tools than Daniel, or most anyone else for that matter. And Zabka has found the right amount of vulnerability mixed with knucklehead and humor to keep this character watchable and keep you rooting for him. And Zabka can throw away a line better than any comic actor you've seen. The Cobra Kai series rests on Zabka's performance. Some of the series' best moments come from seeing Johnny and Miguel. Xolo Mariduena is no doubt the best of the young actors in the cast, and he and Zabka have fantastic on-screen chemistry. Also shoutouts to Jacob Bertrand as Hawk, and especially Peyton List, who gives Tori more depth on screen than appears on page, I'm sure. Also, Season 3 offers some insight and backstory into John Kreese. They managed to do this in a way that it doesn't lessen his menace and your eagerness to root against him. He remains, for the sake of the story, an agent of chaos. But now we have a better understanding as to why. Martin Kove is of course spot on, and his veteran chops round out the cast. Unfortunately, ironically, one of my biggest problems that I have with the show continues to be the karate fights. They tend to vary in quality and credibility. With the understanding that many of the actors in these fights are not actual martial artists, I'd say they deserve a lot of credit for pulling off the fights that they do. And to be fair, you can't have no karate in a show about karate, but it seems like perhaps they should be a bit more judicious about its usage. The large-scale fights really stretch credibility and ask the audience for a lot of suspension of disbelief. Now, actors like Zabka, Marduena, and Tanner Buchanan tend to be more believable in their fights. Machio, who's pushing 60, actually does a pretty decent job of selling his choreography. I think he deserves a lot of credit for that. Even more credit to Cove, who, although a legitimate martial artist, is currently 74 years old and takes advantage of a good fight double. Another con, I'm also kind of disappointed with the handling of Season 1 and 2 regular Aisha, played by Nicole Brown, who was written out of this season with just a couple of lines of exposition dropped in dialogue by secondary characters. While no one can say that Cobra Kai doesn't have its share of brown faces on screen, it is sad that this brown character didn't get more attention than just a couple lines of exposition, especially given how significant that character was to Samantha. Given some of the challenges Samantha faces this season, it seems like her presence would have made sense. But the writers, who for the most part seem to know what they're doing, stated that there was no place for Aisha this season. Shame. But those are my gripes. I really liked Season 3. And I hope it will not be another 2 years before we get Season 4. Season 3 of Cobra Kai gets the check. Binge it. Well, certainly by now everyone is aware that The Mandalorian has wrapped its second season and set the internet on fire in the process. I wasn't planning on doing a segment on this one because there really isn't anything left to say. Everyone has talked about it, and I don't know of anyone who hasn't seen it by now. The secret is out. I did want to make a point, though. This show has come to be about fan service, really. I mean, I know that fan service has come to recently be considered a negative term, and in many cases deservedly so. But in and of itself, fan service is like an ingredient you cook with. The right amount seasons the dish, too much ruins it. Fan service is about the fans, and it should be used as a reward to the fans. I mean, the MCU uses fan service constantly, but they earn the right, and they know how to use it. Star Wars fans have earned some rewards. The disappointments of The Last Jedi and The Rise of Skywalker have driven some lifelong fans of the franchise away in droves. The Mandalorian brought some of them back. To be clear, not entirely with fan service. The show is good. No, it's excellent. The characters are well crafted, well acted, or well puppeted. Grogu. Pedro Pascal is a great lead, despite having to do it from inside a bucket 99% of the time. And as far as the rumors are concerned, they're just that. I cannot say whether or not they're true, and I don't care. And I don't have to give a crap either way. His performance is solid. The show is perfectly produced. Favreau and Filoni are geniuses. It looks great, the effects are great, mostly, and it respects the universe it's based on. A universe which is well known by the fans. Which is why bringing back fan favorites in appearances like Ahsoka Tano and Boba Fett and having them interact with Din Djarin is smart. They are used to further the story, not just The Mandalorian, but the larger Star Wars story. But let's get to it. Luke freaking Skywalker. I was one of many people that was put off by his treatment in The Last Jedi, and many people said that Star Wars was dead because of how the face of Star Wars was treated. And there are many other reasons. There are many of us who have waited to see a scene like the one where he decimated a garrison of Dark Trooper droids for decades. And with one scene, pure fan service, the franchise seems like it's not just refusing to die, but alive with vigor and energy. I just wish they would have taken the time to get Mark Hamill's face right. I heard that they used deepfake software to de-age him, but I've seen videos where it was executed better. With the resources Disney has, I wonder what the reason was for the poor quality. But they can always fix it. But to my point, I'm okay with fan service in this case. Lucasfilm still has some things to clean up in the Star Wars universe. Favreau and Filoni are the right men for the job. These 2 successful seasons of The Mandalorian have gone a long way to make amends. So long as they continue telling engaging, well-crafted stories in the Star Wars universe, they can cram in as much fan service as they want. We deserve it. The Mandalorian Season 2, Cobra Kai Season 3. What did you guys think? Did you love them as much as I did? Did you hate them? They're disgusting. Whatever you think, leave it below. Also, always asking for a like if you would. And also click that subscribe button and click the bell so you can be notified about new content. That's going to do it for today's episode. You guys, as always, take care. Be good to yourselves. Be good to each other. Peace. We are out. God bless.